think you guys should be able to. Well, maybe not. Here. Is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. That might be. Actually, might be a little too loud. Uh-huh. Let's try that. There we go. Yeah. Hey, Charles 75N. How are you, sir? Man, blah, blah. Hey, Paul Baker. Hey, dude. How are you? I'm I had the house to myself this weekend, so I've been preparing stuff in the kitchen all morning and afternoon, and and made myself a apple martini, a virgin apple martini. You guys know I don't drink alcohol, but an apple martini to sit here and hang out with you guys for a little bit. So yeah. Charles says now it's Saturday. Yes, I've kind of backed off on live streams over the last few weeks, just because, quite frankly, there weren't very many people coming to hang out, and 15, 20, 30 people isn't necessarily worth the. It's a lot of time goes into it, so. So yeah. I've been what have I been doing this morning? I went to the state fair a few weeks ago when it was still going on, and they had this thing there called the Mac Daddy, which was basically macaroni cheese topped with barbecue pulled pork, and then they put more barbecue sauce on top of it. Excellent idea. On paper. The problem was the macaroni and cheese was it was good. It wasn't anything that you wasn't anything that you can't. It wasn't special, I guess. It was good, but it wasn't special. It wasn't anything that you can't get at 100 other different places. The pulled pork, the barbecue pulled pork, the barbecue sauce they used was way too sweet. I mean, way too sweet. I mean, they may as well just dumped a mound of brown sugar on top of it. So, to me, it kind of ruined the whole thing. So I decided that that was such a disappointment that I'm recreating that dish. So I'm slow cooking a pork loin right now, and I already made my homemade barbecue sauce this morning to go with it. So that's sitting in the fridge. So that'll go in last, and I'll make the macaroni and cheese here later this evening when we get closer. So. My knees hurt. Says you don't need a gym. You can do plenty of exercising in your house, save money, and get in shape. Yeah, well, in my case, it makes a whole hell of a lot more sense to actually go to the gym because I work from home, and I do just about everything from home. I mean, I don't leave the house very often, so getting out of the house to go exercise, makes a lot more sense. I mean, last year I think I put 6,000 miles on my car. You know. Barbecue sauce should be spicy as fuck, or get the fuck out. I don't know about spicy. I don't have a gallbladder anymore, so I can't do really really spicy stuff like I used to when I was younger. Besides really spicy, like to the point it hurts. I mean that's a bunch of dick waving nowadays anyway. So I don't care about that. But I don't want it too sweet. Gotta be little bit of sweetness is all I want. just a touch. It should be more smoky, more smoky flavor than is sweet. Barbecue sauce recipe. It's not really a recipe. I mean, it's, ketchup, yellow mustard. Let's see, what did I do? Ketchup, yellow mustard, Worcestershire sauce, apple cider vinegar, teriyaki sauce, curry powder, cumin, let's see, curry powder, cumin. What else did I put in there? Chili powder, smoked paprika. I'm forgetting. There's another seasoning I'm forgetting. Nope, no brown sugar. Doesn't need it. I think that's it. No, it's not. There's another. There's another spice. Allspice. Allspice, and there might be one other I'm forgetting. But there's a lot of ingredients. But throw it all. Whisk it all together, and then put it in the. Put it in a saucepan. Simmer it on real low heat for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And you're done. Michael Rake says, "I'm not a fan of sweet pulled pork. If you smoke cumin, paprika, chili powder, mustard, and mustard are your best friends. I use yellow, regular yellow mustard as opposed to mustard, dry mustard powder. But yeah, I mean either one. And I was gonna smoke the pork loin and do it that way, but it's pretty rainy out where I am today, and honestly, I just didn't want to mess with it, so I decided to go the slow cooker route instead. Accomplish the same thing. Let's see. Family secret on Robert's barbecue sauce. Well, when you're from Texas, barbecue sauce kind of, runs in your veins. Paul Baker says, "Have you seen the new Bogner mini amp?" I just saw it for the first time this morning. Actually, somebody posted a link to it. It's kind of the equivalent of the Friedman. Looks to be anyway the equivalent of the Friedman BE Mini or whatever they call that thing. Little 30-watt little solid state head looked like. I mean, they didn't specify anywhere that I could see whether it was tube or solid state, which seems to indicate that it's a solid state amp. So, not that there's anything wrong with that. Solid state's fine, but, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. Who knows? Could be amazing. Reinhold Bogner is pretty much a genius, so. That's good. Michael Rake says, "Well, unfortunately, I'm stuck at home now. Tested positive yesterday despite being fully vaccinated. This completely sucks, but hey, you get to see the live stream." Sorry to hear that, man. I woke up I was at a retreat last weekend with with several other people that I go to every year, and I woke up Tuesday with a cough, and I was like, okay, that ain't cool. So I went and got tested to make sure I didn't have the COVIDs, and they fortunately came. I'm also fully vaccinated, so but it came back negative, so they gave me some horse paste and sent me on my way. But I still got this damn cough lingering, so if I cough during this live stream a lot, that's why. I'm not sure what in the hell it is. Some kind of respiratory infection or something going on. It's annoying. Jack Collins from Louisiana is here. What's up, dude? My knee shirt says I have some peppers, garlic, onion fermenting, and some hot sauce. I love making sauces. Making sauces is fun. honestly, yeah. And I need to learn. In every single recipe video that I've seen on this, there's a lot that goes into it. But I need to learn how to make enchilada sauce because I have an enchilada crockpot recipe, chicken enchilada crockpot recipe that I make all the time, and usually I just use canned enchilada sauce, and it's great, But I would be curious to see, how much better it would be if I made it myself. But you got to get those dried red those dried red peppers that is used quite a bit in Mexican cuisine, and then you gotta rehydrate those, and then throw them in a blender. I mean, it's a lot of work, but and I don't even know where. I'd probably have to go to a Mexican grocery store or carniceria to get those. Now that I think about it. Jeff Seven says, "Greetings, Earthlings." Mikey Gabbard says, "I use code guitar to get 10% off the new coldest water bottle." So it was you that bought that. Cool, thank you, I appreciate that. I got an email about that last night that said you made some money. I'm like, how did I make some money? I made about that much money. But that code's there more for people who want to save a few bucks on their own coldest water bottle than it is for me, for my benefit. So. Paul Baker says the solid state, it's basically the pedal with class D built in. That makes sense. Alan's Guitar Channel says, "Any new gear catching your attention?" God, not really. I mean, we're getting in kind of close to a time of year. We know there's gonna be some new stuff that's coming out. Right before the holiday season, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't, despite working in the industry, I haven't really seen a whole lot that's come out lately. That's anything that I just gotta have, So I mean, I demoed three pedals from a pedal company I never heard of, and the first video was the one that went up the other day that you guys have already seen, and I mean I never do this, but I mean two out of three of those pedals anyway I disliked enough that I actually went and returned them. Usually I just I find a use for it somewhere, but because I don't like returning stuff, but these somebody else can have them. Jack Collins says, "I survived the hurricanes beginning to be an every year occurrence. And unfortunately, down there, that you kind of sign up for that when you live down there along the Gulf Coast." So it was the same thing when I was in Houston. Every year about this time of year, it was kind of, try not to make any real big plans this time of year because it's very possible they're going to get canceled. There's a lot of sauces super easy to make. Always better when you make it. Oh yeah, I mean I don't think I've ever had a sauce, homemade sauce that was ever worse than the store bought stuff that comes pre-made. But but all the recipes I've seen to do it right, like restaurant caliber enchilada sauce, it's a fair amount goes into it, which is why they make as much of it in one batch as they do at the restaurants. Ian Nunez says, "Not a guitar processor guy, more pedal guy, but I gave in and got a Headrush MX5, mainly for interface used for streaming." Interesting. MX5. I don't know. I'm not even sure I've heard of that one. Must be obviously a small. I'm assuming a smaller version of the head rush, but. Jorge Rodriguez says, "What's up with Ampeg? They always say they're going to bring back the '70s V4 guitar amp. Well, I mean, they do make the V4B, which is basically to reissue the V4. And that one's still made and has they've been making that thing forever. So great amp. If you're talking like an identical replica of the original '70s V4, that I don't know. Ampeg are owned, to my knowledge, they're still owned by Loud Technologies. So Loud Technologies own a few other brands out there, but so Ampeg themselves are not the ones that make the calls. My knee shirt says, "I bet they have those dried peppers at whatever store you normally shop at." I've looked. I can't find them. So and it's the store I usually shop at's a corporate chain. So but there's a Mexican carniceria that's I got to drive a little bit to get there, but I bet you if anywhere that I think of close by, they'll have it. Old Omen Road, so Sweetwater bought out. Yes, as a matter of fact, my video going up tomorrow morning, I talk all about that. So I'm gonna save my opinions, and you guys can hear everything I have to say about that tomorrow morning. This is a virgin apple martini, Appletini they call it, something like that. So I don't drink alcohol. Haven't drank alcohol. Haven't had a drink in 23 years. Over 23 years, but I do like to mix up virgin versions of all kinds of stuff. I got into that lately. That started with I started making my own lemon shake-ups, and then that escalated into buying my own shaker, and then making them with fresh herbs and doing all kinds of stuff with it. So. A ton of stuff in it, a lot of sauce. Start with a good stock, garlic, onion, mole, peppers, and shitload of other stuff, and simmer for hours. You can probably find a good recipe on the interwebs. I found a lot of good recipes on the interwebs. Like you said, there's a lot of ingredients in enchilada sauce. So, Michael Riggs says, "What's your opinion on loopers? If you happen to like them, what would be a decent one to get?" If for a simple looper, I'd probably go with the Boss RC1, the TC Electronic Ditto, what's the Digitech one? The Jam Man, not the Jam Man Solo, the Jam Man, what are they called? It's called the Express or something like that. Little $100 guy, any of those little $100 looper pedals will get the job done if you want something simple. If you want something a lot more complex that allows you to do loops on top of loops and is kind of conducive with drum machines and songwritings and stuff, then I recommend get the Aeros, the Singular Sound Aeros looper. So I did a video on it a while back, and a couple videos actually, and I'll never do another video on a looper pedal again because it was such a huge pain in the ass, and it did not come out well at all. And I may even take that video down just because it was I didn't like it. But that said, the looper itself, especially if you have the Beat Buddy with it, it's pretty tough to beat. So, but the two combined are about $900,000. They're pretty expensive. So, but that's the ones that I when I do the rare occasion when I do get into really really complex looping, that's what I go to. I just use a Boss RC3 for looping for my demo videos on the playthrough demo. portions. Let's see. How much chocolate to put in the mole? I have no idea. I am not an expert on mole. Robert O'Brien says Ampeg is Yamaha now. That's right. That's right. Ampeg are under the Yamaha umbrella as of a couple years ago. Well, that's a good thing. Yamaha's pretty badass. But yeah, as far as their any promises they may have made regarding bringing back the V4, I have not heard any of that, to be clear. So I don't know. The only thing I'm aware of is they were making the. God damn it, that's driving me insane. If I move that out of the way, does it focus on me any better? Let's see if that fixes it. Not really. So anyway, I've not heard of anything about bringing back another version of the V4 because, like I said, the V4B has been in production forever. So, Timothy Plonk is here. Old Omen Road says, I need some Mexican food. I am never opposed. I love to eat my weight in Mexican food. I made some beef burritos the other night. They were pretty killer. My biggest problems with the Ampegs are the inputs. I hope the ones made with Yamaha as the owner will do better on the small stuff. I've never run into anything, but what I can tell you, Yamaha they only tend to make brands better. Look what happened. Line 6 shot through the stratosphere when after they got bought out by Yamaha. Prior to being under the Yamaha umbrella, Line 6 were, they had a lot of products, but, everything they came out with was, let's stuff as many shitty effects into this one piece of gear as we can and, see how many of them we sell. And that was their business model. And Yamaha came along and said, okay, well, great, but, maybe let's see if we could actually make some things, that are like actually practical pieces of gear for musicians. And, let's, by the way, while we're at it, let's also see if we can improve these effects, that we're putting into everything. And, Line 6, like I said, Line 6's entire product line has drastically improved since Yamaha bought them out. Hell, I wish Yamaha would buy Gibson. Got a nice shadow on the side of your face. Yeah, I know. I can't get my lighting in this room straightened out because I'm right here. I'm all the way into a corner, so I got a new light right here, and I got another light sitting over here. And really, the shadow on my face is the microphone. So, oops. Yeah. Here, maybe this will work. That pop filter out of the way is not doing any good anyway. And now it's right on my forehead. All right, we'll try that. You like the Mexican candies? I'm not really much of a. I don't really have much of a sweet tooth. My wife has the sweet tooth. I like that stuff every now and then, but I don't. I don't live for, going to, Mexican candy or anything like that. So, hmm. Has anyone heard the new Iron Maiden album, Senjutsu? I planned on getting it yesterday, but that didn't happen after a trip to the doctor. What I heard, I've loved so far. I have not. I listen to Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM a little bit every now and then, and I noticed they were playing some Maiden stuff the other day that I hadn't heard of, but I assumed it was just something older, you know, obscure track off one of their older records. But I don't know, maybe it was some of the new stuff. Looking for a 15-watt tube amp. What do you recommend? I don't know. Depends on what kind of sound you want. Really. Vox AC15. Marshall DSL. What was the DSL 20? I think. For high gain stuff, I like my Randall RD20 really well. You can probably pick up a Panama something or other, 15-watt used head on the used market. Egnator tweaker. There's all kinds of stuff out there. I personally love my Wong's HD15. I've not heard that one, but if it's anything like the Wong's Mini 5 that I have, that amp's badass. So yeah, all the Wong stuff is really good too. Man, that's good. Hey Robert, ever had any experience with the rolling microcubes? Yeah, I had one for a long time. A little battery powered guy. It was really handy just to kind of toss it in the back seat and go wherever I needed to go because it was a battery powered amp, and despite what the manual said, the batteries in those things I found actually lasted quite a while. So yeah, no, I thought they were really really handy little things. You weren't going to play any gigs with it or anything like that, of course, but for a toss it in the back seat, something to get sound out of. When you're out in the middle of nowhere or someplace without power, they're great for that. That's what they're designed for. Robert O'Brien says I had three BA115 amps, and each one had issues with the inputs. Luckily, I could replace them, but they weren't good enough to be played all the time. Interesting. First I've heard of that. Jorge Rodriguez says, "What do you think about the Chinese Dumble amp? Steel string singer knockoff. They come with cancer warning labels. What's up with that? Honest, I have no idea what you're referring to. There's been a lot of people that have made Dumble clones over the years. That's Dumbles are probably the most valuable amps on the planet. So, if you can find one, those things sell for over $100,000 now. So, if you can find one, there's and you got the money to pay for it, more power to you. But the vast majority of guitar players can't find one, and even if they can, even more of them, a lot more of them, don't have the money to pay for something like that. So, Dumble clones are pretty valuable. Drink looked great tasting. It was very, very good tasting. In fact, I'm probably going to go downstairs and get another one here in just a couple minutes. Now that I'm a quart low. Virgin apple martini that I made for myself this morning. Or this afternoon. I keep forgetting it's almost 4 o'clock. DD Paranormal F Sharps as a low from Ossipee, New Hampshire. I know where New Hampshire is, but I don't know what Ossipee is or where it is. The town, I'm assuming. I've only been in New Hampshire one time in my life, man. That was a beautiful area out there. Beautiful area. Oh, God, I was a kid at the time, like elementary school. Spent part of a family vacation up there in that part of the world. 1 year. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go get a refill. I'll be right back. Okay, where was I? What is that head sitting on top of the Randall? It's another Randall. We're talking about that one. It's an RM22 module head. 2-slot module head. Module's currently in it. Shit, I don't remember. It's a KH1, the Kirk Hammett, the clean channel. The Kirk Hammett clean channel and the top channel and SL Plus. It's basically a hot rodded Marshall on the bottom channel. And I've also got one called the Tread Plate, which is the dual rectifier one around here somewhere. Michael Rake says, I think I'd rather have a few Marshall Engel diesel stacks compared to a single Dumble. You could probably get a full stack of each easily to the cost of one of those things. I don't think there's any question. You can get multiples. Pardon me. I think you could probably get multiple touring rigs of each one of those. You know, each one of those amps for the price you pay for a Dumble. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Dumbles are cool, but I mean they're not that cool. They're not 100 grand cool. For 100 grand, I'd rather have a lot of other stuff. So seeing a Dumble had on some internet guitar channel show tour. They were asking $130,000. Yeah, Dumbles and the Klons. Those two. The Klons, which is about the simplest overdrive circuit on the planet. Those. The prices of Klons are going through the roof right now too, which makes no sense to me. I can't believe people are paying $5,000 for those freaking pedals. I mean, even collectors. I get it. And that's all they're any good to anymore. Is collectors with that kind of money to burn. Because I mean, any serious guitar player never going to pay any money for it. No way. It's good. My knees hurt. I like having all my amps in my DAW. Virtual amps are cool. I do have a few of them that I do use. But I mean, generally speaking, I prefer to record with actual guitar amps. So bass, I almost always use virtual amps though. I've got a Amplitude, has a Gallion Kruger bass amp that I really like. Mount Salmella 80 says NGD new guitar day here with Schecter C1 Exotic. Think plays like a dream once I set it up. What do you think of the Schecter lines? I love Schecters actually, man. I think they're great. They are. I think Schecter are one of the best bangs for the buck. They're import guitars anyway. I think are some of the best values that you can buy for the money. I think they do, and they've always been that way. Great guitars for the money. And I mean, you guys know. I mean, I've got a blackjack. I got a C1 SLS blackjack and a CR6, and I've used both of them in my videos extensively, and still continue to do so. Matter of fact, I just used the CR6 and one the other day. So I mean, I like Schecters quite a bit. I like Schecters quite a bit. The import stuff's probably never gonna be of any kind of vintage collector value, but they do make great guitars. Awkward silence are fun. LOL. Also, tell Robert is a bartender. I'm not a bartender. I'm more of a home bartender than anything. I just mix shit up into a shaker and drink it. Ian Nunez says, I don't know how to use a DAW. That's my problem. Learning how to use a DAW is, once you get started, if you can get to the point, where you can, load tracks and, and actually record sounds onto them. Everything else from that point seems to become a lot easier. It all begins to make sense. But I was once at that point where I would open up the DAW and I had absolutely no idea what to do next. I had to have a buddy of mine come over and show me. Stay curious as do you know of any replacement strap bridges that allow up trim that are not floating. I only know one that exists like this, but it's called the Falcon. I'm looking for another option. That'll allow you to pull up that aren't. I have no idea, honestly. I know that you watch. Oh shit! What's that guy's name? He's a producer, well-known producer, Paul something or other. Did a video on YouTube. He's got a trick to setting up strats. To where they play, where the actions where it's supposed to be. They play where they are supposed to be, but he's got the bridge floating up a little bit to where he can pull it up. And he's got there's a video of him out there doing that. God damn it, what the hell's that guy's name? Let me see if I can find it. Paul Strat setup. See what that pulls up. Nope. I can't think of the dude's last name. It's been on the tip of my tongue, and it's right there. I know everybody's heard of him. I keep wanting to say it's like Schellenberger or something, but it's not. I don't know. I give up. I give up. Maybe somebody else will know what I'm thinking of. It was a pretty popular video when it hit. I don't know, a year or two ago. My niece says I just hit record and play shitty guitar into my computer, then hit loop and play over that. That's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of people do that too. Big Cole says found a diesel Herbert for $2,500. That's on the used market. That's actually about right for those. Maybe even a little bit. I've seen them sell even for a little less than that, a couple $300 less. But the diesels, it's a $5,000 amp brand new, but on the used market, most of them seem to sell for right around 25. So even the Herberts, and I love the Herberts. I'd love to have one of those, but I don't have $2,500 for a used one or $5,000 for a new one. The irony of the guy who buys a $5,000 Quan or $100,000 Dumble is they most often, but not always, couldn't play smoke in the water with one string. CEO's money doesn't translate to their hands. No, maybe not, but I mean, there's also nothing wrong. Even if you got if you have the money, and you enjoy collecting vintage collectible guitar gear, I don't see anything wrong with that. Even whether you can play them or not. Think about it. I mean, how many wealthy people's homes have you seen in your lifetime that they've got a grand piano or something, some $50,000 grand piano or something like that sitting in their living room? There's not a soul in the house that knows the first fucking thing about playing piano. Just it's there because it's it's a high end expensive piano, and it's furniture basically. Delicious. Pardon me while I'm eating an apple. Here. That way I'm not chewing into the microphone. I'll mute it. There we go. Mount Salmella 80 says I might buy a few Schecters in a row before buying anything else again. There's nothing wrong with that. There's even a couple of other Schecters in the current product line I wouldn't mind owning, but they're not a priority at the moment. East Oasis says I just got a couple guitars recently. Groat semi hollow body and the Glary G Jazz 5. Both pretty fun guitars. Nice, man. I've heard about those Groat guitars. I think some of them. What I've heard, they seem to be hit or miss, but I don't know. But I've never played one. I have not had great experience with the Glary stuff though. Ian Nunez says I need a buddy to help me with the DAW, like a hot computer nerd chick. Is it Paul Davids? No, it's not Paul Davids. There is he's not a YouTube guy. I mean, he's a well-known producer. Let me see. Producer. Paul Verhaven. That's who I'm thinking of. Paul Verhaven. Now let me see if I can find the video. If I can find it, I'll put it in the chat. Paul Verhaven. Oh, holy shit. This says this thing's 11 years old, but... No.
My name is Carl
Verhaven. I don't know how it's pronounced, but let's see. Share. Copy. Try that. Jorge Rodriguez was Eddie Van Halen Brown Sound Plexi amps. Tubes modified to a KT88 or 6L6 in the late 70s. There's concert footage of Fender amps on stage stacked. I'm not. I mean, there's, that I couldn't tell you. I mean, all those early amp mods, were, Eddie's, amp mods were done by a guy named Kevin Brown, and that's where the name the Brown Sound comes from. So it's not named after Eddie Van Halen. He was just the one that was famous for using it. The sound was named after Kevin Brown. So, and then, Eddie, of course, was known for all, for using the Jose modded stuff down the road. But for modded to KT88s or 6L6 is that I'm not sure. My understanding is everything was still EL34s that he was using. He didn't mod the power tubes. But to be honest though, I'm not sure. I'm not an amp tech, so. Let's see. Chris Torres is here. Michael Riggs says, I'm going to go lie down for a little bit and sleep this mess off. Good seeing everyone. Take care. Have a good one, dude. I'm probably going to go do the same here for a little bit. I've got about 4 or 5 hours left on my pork before I got to go down and make the rest of my meal. If you follow me on Facebook, I'm going to post pictures of everything once it's done there. So if you see me, if you're on my Facebook, if we're friends on Facebook, and this isn't an invite for everybody to start adding me on Facebook, because if I don't know you, I'm not going to approve it. But if you are, I'll post pictures of all that stuff later, because one thing I enjoy doing is, doing big cooking stuff on holiday weekends. So, Thunder Falcon says my next amp is a Bad Cat Cub 40R. I've tried Bad Cat amps. Oh yeah, no, Bad Cats are badass. And honestly, one of the loudest amps I've ever heard was a Hot Cat 100. That thing was insanely loud. My God. No, I mean, I don't know where anybody would play that thing. It was so loud. I like Bad Cat amps quite a bit. I think they sound great. The Cub series are, the combos, of course. And, I know lots of people, even here locally, actually, that have used them. And, yeah, no, they sound great. Stay Curious says, "Hi, that's funny. I always thought the brown sound was a color description. It is not. It is not. It was named after a amp tech in California named Kevin Brown." Jeff Seven says Eddie liked his Variac too. Crank the input voltage up or down for different tones. Yep, Eddie's one of the guys that made the Variac thing famous. Well, there's a lot of guys out in LA though that were doing that. With the Variacs in particular, and also the Tom Scholz Power Soaks. One of the best sounding amps I have ever heard. I was watching a live band, a buddy of band, as they were playing, and he was a guitar player, and it was him and another guitar player in the same band, right? And they were both, it wasn't a dedicated, I play rhythm, he plays lead, or vice versa or anything. They both kind of traded off. Pardon me. The other guy used, he had a Marshall something or other, I don't know, he had a, JVM or something like that. He had a floor full of pedals and, all kinds of stuff. And it sounded pretty good, right? Well, the buddy of mine that I was watching had an old JCM 800 half stack. Guitar plugged straight into it. That was it. And by the way, a guitar JCM 800 dialed like that. By the way, every knob on the front of it was all cranked all the way to 10, all of them, and it sounded monstrous. I went up to him after the show. I was like, "Dude, I love JCM 800s, but I've never heard one sound like that. How did you get that thing to sound like that?" Because he had no pedals on the floor, none. He laughed at me. He said, "Don't tell anybody I said this, but go look. The secret's in the back." I went and looked behind the amp, and on the back of the cab, it was just a Marshall 1960 412 cab. And on the back of his 412 cab, he had a Boss chorus pedal gaff taped to the back of it, always on, and he had a Tom Scholz Power Soak, gaff taped, to the back of that cab. That was it. It sounded killer. I've always wanted to do that ever since I saw that. My niece says you should do cooking videos. I've thought about it. I've thought about about doing some, starting a second channel about cooking videos and stuff. And honestly, I'd probably I'd probably grow that channel a lot faster than I have this one. But doing 2 videos a week on this channel plus a live stream. It already takes up a lot of time. A lot of time. So, and I don't know that my wife would let me get away with starting another channel. And if I did do it, it wouldn't be the kind of thing that I would be uploading videos to every week. It'd be one of those things I uploaded a video on whenever I felt like it, right? So, I wouldn't be able to put the same type of commitment into that channel as I have this one, and I really don't want to be honest. So, I don't know, but I've thought about it, and I may still, but who knows? Robert, your thoughts on Joyo amps and effects pedals? They're great, man. They're for the money. Despite a lot of the earlier stuff in particular, and a lot of the amps, even the current line of amps, all being big clones of other pedals and amps and stuff out there. Which can't really fault them for that. God, everybody's doing that these days. So, but the Revolution series pedals, most of those, the ones that I played anyway, most of them are, those things are pretty badass. What was it, the reverb? Ooh, I think it was the reverb, right? I can't remember, and I think it was the reverb. They make one called the Atmosphere, which I think is the delay. And well, shit. Here, let me look, because I don't remember now. Yeah, I was right. The Atmosphere is the reverb, and the Aquarius is the delay. The Atmosphere reverb is badass. Really, really good reverb pedal and under $100. So, really good reverb. I put it up there at the Hall of Fame, to be honest. The Aquarius delay it was okay. I didn't like it quite as well as I did the reverb, but it was okay. Certainly not a bad pedal. But and then they got the Tai Chi. I'm looking over the ones on the shelf that I have. The Tai Chi Overdrive, which is the Zen Overdrive clone, great pedal. The Zip Amp Overdrive, which is I think that's a clone of the BB preamp, and what's the other, the Torin, which is their clone. All those are great overdrive pedals, and the Uzi is one of the best distortion pedals that I've ever heard under $50. That thing's badass. So, yeah, no, I like the Joyo stuff. The amps, I've had a couple of the what do you call them? The Bant amps, little mini guys. I've had a couple of those, and they sounded good, but they're kind of they're kind of one-trick ponies. They do what they do, and that's what they do. So not really. If you need something cheap and you got a specific sound that you need, and one of those fits the bill, and then yeah, absolutely. But for overall versatility, I didn't think that they were that. But sound quality wise, though, they are really, really good. They've got a tube amp called the Mjolnir that it's like a 20-watt tube amp, and I've really wanted one of those all the time for a long time. And I was looking at a photo of it one day and realized that it had the exact same control configuration as my Panama Shaman 20, which also happens to have the exact same control configuration as the Mesa Boogie Mini Rectifier. And so I discovered that one was just another rip-off of the Mini Rack, and ended my desire to have one of those. So somebody sends me one, fine, but I'm not paying any money for it. Alan's Guitar Channel says, what gear would you bring to a small gig? I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on, assuming that there's a PA system that I can mic my amp up through. And I don't, nowadays I don't have any reason to assume that there wouldn't be. And again, I guess it also kind of depends on what your idea of a small gig is. So, if you're talking like, really small, like almost coffee shop size, I mean, I'm not sure I'd take any more than a 20 watt amp and 112 cabinet. So, a club with 200 people in it, maybe take a 30 or 40 watt amp and a 212, maybe. At that point, though, it's almost, I'm almost at the point it might be easier to lug the 412 cabinet on wheels, with a 50 watt head. I don't know, or maybe this, my trusty 60 watt PV6505 combo. There's some, I don't know. There's all different kinds of stuff you can do. If you're trying to simplify, if you really want to simplify it, go get one of those Seymour Duncan, what do they call those power amp things? Mount that onto your pedal board and use your pedal board as your preamp and run that whole thing run that whole thing straight into the PA system. If you're trying to eliminate the amount of stuff you're taking to a gig anyway. Hey, Robert, ever tried Seymour Duncan Black Winters? What are your thoughts? Yeah, good pickups. High output, good high output pickups. They're not necessarily my favorite. They're not my flavor, but they're good sounding pickups. I like the. To me it's hard to beat it's hard to beat the Duncan JB still. That one's still my favorite pickup. I've got a lot of other guitars with a lot of other pickups that I use, but the JB's where it's at for me. Ian Nunez says, bought a bundle of Joyo headstock clip-on tuners on Amazon. They sucked. Ronnie Webster is here. Good afternoon to you, sir. I'm good. Fender Super Reverb amp, best for small gigs. I don't know about that. Super Reverb's pretty loud. And those are and big. Super Reverb's not a small amp. Ronnie Webster says, if you tried the Mick Thompson signature blackouts, I have my Jackson Mick Thompson solos, and they are absolute killer. I've got the which ones do I have? I'm looking at the guitar that has it right now. It's it's my acrylic Warlock that's got a set of Duncans in it, and I think, what are they called? The ABRs or something, ABR ones or something like that. I can't remember what they call them, what the model number is, but I know the Mick Thompsons are really similar, if not identical, to the ones that I have. Let me just look it up because I'm already curious. AHB ones. AHB ones. Those are the ones I have. The Mick Thompson blackouts have a tighter low end than the standard ones, so they don't fart out. I think honestly, I think a lot of that has more to do with the amp that you're running them into than anything. He was using Rivera amps for a long time, which have a ton of low end. So, it makes sense for it. You want to back off on that a little bit with his amps. I'm not sure what he's using now, but I've never run into that with mine, running into anything that I use, but. I don't tend to dial in nearly as much low end into my nearly as much low end into my guitar tone as I once did, just because realized, number one, I don't need it. Number two, it just, it muddies up the whole process a lot more. And number three, in a live band situation, that's the bass player's job, not mine. So, but to each their own. Lately, I'm using the neural Soldano plug-in. I keep my bass at about 10 or 11. A lot of people are really enjoying that neural stuff. I haven't gotten into it, but I'm really not that into plug-ins. Like I said, I'd much rather play with real amps. So. Ace Oasis says I have my Ivan S. Joyo with Floyd Rose and some cheap Invaders. Actually, I think going active in it, I had the Duncan AHP ones and an old 7-string. I'm not sure what to run. To add, it's just single hum. Just not sure where to go for that configuration. If you want to go active, honestly, I'd probably go EMG. 707 and what's the... I can't remember what they call it. I know they make the 707, and then they make the what do they call it? Just the EMG 7 or something like that. I don't remember. And then of course they've got any number of single coil models you can choose from for the middle pickup. But if it's a 6-string, they make a 6-string version of the 606 as well, or the 707 as well. And I don't know. EMG's got a bunch of different models out there nowadays. I mean, you got a lot more options than just the 81, 85 like it used to be. So, all right, fellas. Well, I think I'm gonna go jump off of here and go check on my food and play some PlayStation or something here for the rest of the afternoon while I'm waiting on my pork to finish slow cooking. And so that's what I'm gonna do. So, everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a great holiday. And be safe out there.